Hey there, how's it going everybody? Welcome back. Dan here with Plant Abundance on YouTube. I want to wish you all a happy new year. I wanted to bring you out to the garden today and share with you just a little bit more of how nature provides us with just an abundance of edible food on demand. It's just so easy to get going on this. If you haven't already, we're in a new year. This is a great year to start a garden. And today I'm going to be featuring, yes, you guessed it, some perennial greens, one of my favorite plants to grow. I love tree kales and tree collards. They provide just an abundance of high nutrient, dense food, all kinds of different ways to prepare it, whether you're doing sautés, putting them in a smoothie, making chips, kale chips. Anyways, check out this plant. This is a great example right behind me of a variety that was created right here on site by me selectively choosing different seeds from the different perennial greens that have developed here over the course of the past 10 years. And this is really a beautiful example of an abundant green plant. Now, you got purple tinge coming out here with the cold. And look at the stem here, how purple it is. Everything is nice and sweet right now, delicious. The leaves are just beginning to really get large now. And you could go around and take several cuttings off of this plant, although it would have been better to do about 2 months ago. And I'm going to show you where I did that with another variety. So right here in front of the chicken coop nesting boxes, I had a walking stick kale that had been growing. It was kind of in the way, but I let it mature so that I could take cuttings, which I did. So I took the plant out without damaging any other possible cuttings. And I'll remove the side shoots. Now you can just pluck those off. You don't need to use the pruners. It's quicker this way. And I'm going to leave a couple leaves on top for photosynthesis. I'll leave that little one on there. Just like that. This is a little cutting. You can harvest several at a time. So what I did with all those cuttings is I just jammed them straight into some play sand. You just want to make sure that the sand's been washed of any salts, but pretty much any sand's going to work. And you can see, well, even on this one that was kind of laying on its side, we got some little roots there. Maybe you can see that. Pull out a better one here. So once you got some roots on there like this, you can go ahead and pot it up in some soil or plant it directly in the ground. And that's what I did over here. I took a bunch of the cuttings that had rooted and stuck them in some potting mix. There's quite a bit of water at the bottom there because we had some rain come in. But these are now even further along and established and ready to go into the garden. Usually before I unpot these, I like to make sure that we got at least a few roots coming out the bottom here, but I know this is going to be okay. I'm going to open it just for demonstration. So yeah, it wasn't completely rooted up. You can see the root ball here. That's a nice set of healthy roots. This is going to create a beautiful large tree kale for the garden. So we went from one plant to 50, enough to create a whole tree kale forest now. And you can see behind me, we got the purple tree kale all on the edge of the hugel mound here. And this was the same thing. I started off with just a couple plants, I think 3 or 4 plants. And just through cuttings, I've created forests of this plant. It's just so abundant. And look down here, we got some little mushrooms growing up. Another wonderful thing about these perennial greens is how easy they'll self-seed. Back here I had some greens where I let the seed pods drop. And all of these little green sprouts here are all new perennial green plants. Just amazing. And you can see it came from this plant here, which is a dino tree kale. Again, the leaves are just starting to get big here in January. They're going to continue to get larger and larger. But this is a beautiful size as it is for harvesting. So really, I just wanted to encourage everyone that do the best you can this upcoming 2021 growing season. A lot of times you can just get yourself one variety of a plant, just get one thing started, and eventually you can propagate that plant out, usually within a year or two, and create a whole forest or just a huge area of the same plant. I've been taking cuttings of other plants as well, such as the aronia berry, and I've also got a red currant over here. I took a bunch of cuttings off. So here's a look at one of the batches of cuttings I took off those plants. Once again, just sticking them in some sand and letting them root. We'll be transplanting them later. See, I've got quite a few. Some of those aronia berries. But think of it like this. Let's say you've got some budget constraints to contend with, or perhaps you live in an apartment even, or you're renting someplace, but you do have plans to move in the near future. Well, you can get yourself at least one variety of some of these perennial plants that you know that you can propagate from cutting, and you can get this process going. You'll end up with multitudes of that plant. The abundance is there for you, my friends. It really doesn't take a whole lot to get going. Not a lot of effort, not a lot of money. It just takes a will and some knowledge, and you'll be on your way.